YTBC, what's the deal? So an interesting fight will be happening in a few days here. 10-rounder between Christian Hammer versus Michael Sprott. Interesting fight, man. Both of these guys kind of mirror each other with their size, their height and their weight. Um, we know Michael Sprott was about 41 years old. If this was Michael Sprott, like the best Michael Sprott versus the best Christian Hammer, I will pick Michael Sprott. But he's 41. His last few fights, obviously, have not went his way. He's been in there with some very, very heavy-handed fighters. Adrian Granat, Carlos Takam, and Anthony Joshua all stopped him. Even Cali Meehan, we know Meehan was known to have some power back in his day. So it's like usually when he gets in there with heavy-handed guys, he usually gets stopped. Erkin Tepper. Now, there are some guys he's pushed to the distance, some guys he's beaten over the years. Helenius, he pushed him to the full distance. He's beat Gerber and lost to Gerber. He took Kurbat Pulov really deep in their fight. Alexander Dimitrenko, same thing, pushed him to 12 rounds. He's had some, Layman Bruce was another guy he pushed to the full distance. Ustinov, the Ali Harrison fight, he was winning the fight till he got knocked out. Fought him a few times. I mean, he's a good journeyman with good experience, but I think he's seen his better days. Could he possibly beat guys like Jason Gavin and the Brian Mintos? He could possibly still beat those type of dudes, Damon Reeds and the Ivica Perkovics. But against a guy like Christian Hammer, who's a lot younger than him, he's 28 years old, so he's 13 years his junior, and Hammer, I've seen him fight a handful of times. Now he's coming in on a win over Sherman Williams. I seen him get outboxed by Tyson Fury. Then he got stopped on his stool. Then come out, I believe his corner stopped the fight. But Fury was switching southpaw, hitting him with shots, roughing him up, keeping him at bay with that jab. Also seen Hammer fight Marius Wack. He fought him his 9th pro fight, and the same thing in that fight, being controlled by the jab. There was points in that fight where Wack was just keeping his hand out there, wasn't even jabbing him, just kind of pawing with his left hand, and he landed a huge shot that knocked Hammer out cold. His head bounced off the canvas, pretty nasty knockout. But Hammer, kind of like Sprott, goes the distance in a lot of his fights. He's beaten high-level journeymen, guys a little bit past it, but still to give a prospect troubles, guys like Kevin Johnson and Konstantin Erich, Costa Jr. He's beating those guys, and like I said, he'll go 10, 12 rounds in fights. Danny Williams beat him a few years ago. So Hammer, this fight will be in Romania. We know he was born there. We know that he resides in Germany. After this fight with Sprott, and I think this fight's going to go the full 10 rounds. I don't think Hammer's going to knock them out. I've never been impressed with his knockout power. He's pretty much just a guy that likes to put up the high guard and come forward. And if you control the distance on him or control him with the jab, he'll just sit on the outside of your reach. He's never really had the equalizer as far as having heavy hands. Same thing with Gerber. I've never really been a fan of Edmund Gerber's punching power. That's probably why I thought that Sprott was able to get a victory over him, because he didn't have to worry about heavy hands coming back at him. But after this fight, I would love to see Hammer in there with some of the other prospects and up-and-comers, Michiel Wallish and Tom Schwartz and Ajit Kabayel and Sanad Gashi, guys who I've done prospect watch videos on. Even the Lewandowski brothers. I'd like to see them mix it up with guys like Christian Hammer. It'd be a good fight, good fight. They can probably make the fight in Germany. I think it'll be a good fight over there. But as far as this fight, I'm going to go with Christian Hammer over Michael Sprott. I'll say Sprott will probably win 2 or 3 rounds of the 10 rounds. I don't think he'll get knocked out because, even at his advanced age of 41, his problem is heavy punchers, is heavy-handed guys. And I don't see Christian Hammer being a heavy-handed fighter. He's just a guy who likes to go in there, put up the high guard, likes to get close, an ambush type fighter, want to get close, throw hooks and uppercuts. When he's on the outside, he will use a jab, but he looks like he pushes with his jab a lot. He'll double and triple it, but it's really not that effective. At least not in my eyes, at least not against the top level guys when he steps up in competition. Jab doesn't really seem all that effective to me. But he's in there with the older guy, but I want to see him fight one of the prospects out of Germany. I think that'll make for an exciting fight. But as far as this, I see him beating Sprott by unanimous decision. But I expect Sprott to win 2 or 3 rounds. You never know, man. He may pull some out of his hat like he did against Edmund Garber. You never know with Sprott. But to me, he struggles against heavy-handed fighters, not so much against guys like Christian Hammer. Just getting us out there to fight take place in, I believe, 2 days on the March 18th. I believe March 18th. YTBC, I'm out.